from Chicago. My name is Corey Singular. I grew up in the Chicago suburbs. Good family. I went to school. I graduated college. No one in my family is really an addict, so I was, kind of like the, black sheep, if you will.
Isn't that crazy? That's so much of the stigma that we found is people don't think addiction is, wait, you had a good childhood? Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, your family's not messed up? No, well, in our own ways. All of our families are messed up in their own ways, but it's like, no, it's not. For some reason, the stigma out there is so far off of what addict and addiction is. And so growing up in Chicago, great childhood, loving parents and family, supportive.
Yeah. And everything was good. I was kind of I got in trouble when I was a kid. I would steal a lot. I always wanted more. Even though I was spoiled, like a lot. And I grew up in kind of like a rich town. I always wanted more. Whether it was money, like even when I was a young kid, before drugs and alcohol, I would steal baseball cards. I just wanted more.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Nothing was ever enough. Nothing was ever enough, and I just wanted more. The first time I used was drinking. I remember, I'd see the adults drink, and I thought it was, that was the adult thing to do.
Yeah.
So I remember in second grade, I was with my buddy lived like right next to the school, so we'd all go there afterwards, like a couple girls, a couple guys. This was in second grade, and I was the one cracking beers and like sipping.
Wow.
Second grade, and everyone else was like, didn't do it, you know what I mean? And I thought that was like cool. And I would just drink like half a beer, and I don't really remember feeling anything from that, other than like it was wrong and I wanted to do it. You know what I mean? Grade school was good. Middle school, I hung around a little bit of an older crowd.
Okay.
So that's when I first started smoking weed, and I loved it. I would get super, super high, but like I felt like it connected me with, other people in like the group that I was with, and they were older, so I would smoke with them and stuff, so that was cool. But I started smoking all the time, like non-stop.
So the other people that you were with before kind of saw you going even further.
Yes, and I wanted to be around the older crowd always. I felt cooler. I felt like that was the cool thing to do, and I started smoking a lot of weed with them. My parents were divorced, but it was kind of like an open thing. Like I could go to my mom's or my dad, and my dad traveled a lot, and he lived in the city, but he bought a house like right down the street. So like when he was home, I could go over there, and I kind of used that to my advantage. Like, I get in trouble here, I go over there. I wanted to do something and I couldn't, I knew which house to go to. I manipulated it to my, to what I wanted. And when, I wouldn't listen to my mom. She'd be like, you're grounded, whatever. Yeah, okay. And I would just leave, So my dad thought like, oh, I can keep him in line. Like he's pretty strict, like, you know what I mean? So they made me move during freshman year of high school, or like 8th grade summer going into freshman year. I moved to my dad's house.
And so the mindset was, we just need stronger rules.
Yes.
Okay.
But the thing was, he traveled all the time. So I would literally have the house to myself for 2 weeks at a time. No supervision, nothing. He left a lot of money, places to stock groceries, So freshman year, I didn't do anything, like nothing. I completely stopped. I got good grades. I kind of like towed the line. Why? I don't know. But then that summer, going into sophomore year, I smoked weed again, and it was like on. I got into a group that I was comfortable with. It was on. I smoked a lot of weed. I remember like finding, actually I broke my hand. I got in a fight and I broke my hand. I had to have surgery and pins put in my hand, and I remember taking Vicodin. And when I smoked pot, I was smoking pot every day. When I would smoke pot, when I came home from surgery, I was on like the pain meds, and I smoked pot and I felt amazing. Like I loved it immediately. And I found out that was from the Vicodin. I had a script for Vicodin, took them all. I made up like an excuse to my dad, oh, it really hurts, I'm in a lot of pain, got a refill, took them all. Why he wasn't catching on to this, I have no idea. But like, I was supposed to save a few for when they took the pins out, and I didn't have any left. The doctor's like, do you know that you went through like 180 Vicodin in 2 weeks? And my dad was like, you know, kind of like, what happened, you know? And I'm like, oh, you know, just really hurt, and he didn't really think twice about it.
Yeah.
But that's when I started searching like the medicine cabinets. Found like, you know, like,
So that's basically when it got turned on.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it's, oh, okay, there's an even greater feeling, the next big thing.
absolutely.
Okay.
And you know, I found the Vicodin, you know, in his cabinet, took them all. Then like, you know, we would go to like, you know, house parties in high school, I'd searching every cabinet, telling my friends to search the cabinets, you know, buying them off of them. And yeah, it was any pain pill I could find. That was my favorite thing. Then I found Xanax. That was cool too, smoking weed, Xanax, and I wasn't really big into drinking. I didn't like it. It was just not my thing.
Right.
It was, you know, I would drink, don't get me wrong, but like I didn't like blacking out or being not in control. Not that I was in control of the pills, but I mean like, you know, I
There's
didn't
still a
want to
mental aspect there.
Yes.
So what happened when it started getting towards its worst, and what was the precipitating event or events that led you to finally looking at there's got to be a different way?
I got arrested the first time, and it was for a residential burglary, but it wasn't like a burger. I mean, like, it was a buddy that we grew up in high school with, but we treated him kind of like, he was kind of like, we used him. He was like, we used him for everything. He was the first one to get a car, his parents' credit card. His parents were kind of like, hey, stop, but like not really do anything about us. We'd take their money, alcohol, throw parties there all the time. We went there one time, and we got out. Actually, I graduated early, and my buddy got off he didn't have 8th period, like some people didn't. And so we went to his house, and we just walked in the back door like we always do. And it was just me and my buddy, and we left, but like he took like a few Xbox games and like a piggy bank of change. Cops pulled us over. The kid that house it was only 17, so they called his parents. Parents were like, we don't want him in the house when he's home, when we're home, let alone when we're not home. They smacked us with the residential burglary. Like, I thought it was like a big joke until we went to bond court, and they're like, your bond is $200,000, so 10%, 20 grand to get out. I was like, damn. My buddy got bailed out right away. My parents did kind of like a tough love, but like 6 days in, they bailed me out. And my dad looked at me and said, this is your one get out of jail free card. I'm gonna give you an attorney, bond you out, and never call me again if you get locked up. So I had to go through what's called drug court, and the fear at that time, the fear was enough to keep me sober.
Yeah, the fear is real when you're in that moment.
Yes, and I didn't like jail. I was young, you know, a lot of, you know, whatever. The fear of that kept me clean for 2 years. You know, 2 years. I didn't work a program, but I went to rehab. I went to 90-day like behavioral modification, like treatment center. It was like super strict. People only from jail, so it was like super strict. Had to do everything. Like, it was like a mini treatment boot camp almost.
Right.
So I went through that. Then I had to do 90 days at a halfway house, 90 days at a recorder house, 90 days IOP, 90 days OP. So I did all that, and that's what kept me clean. It was just like the fear of, you know, so I was like towing the line. The day that the judge was like, you're off, I was smoking weed probably 45 minutes after that.
So with that fear, there was enough for an initial change of behavior, but it sounds like that work hadn't been done at that core level that was driving that. And so
Absolutely
a
not.
day after, that's incredible. That's really typical, which is so interesting, is really dealing with the core issue. So you had some time, and then what happened after that?
I started using, actually I had my son, I was with this girl, you know, we fell in love. She was an awesome girl, but like, we were young. She knew me during those 2 years, so that's like, you know, was, we were still in love, and we had my son. That was like a whole mess with her family, and he was born. I was cheating on her when she was pregnant. You know what I mean? This is after drug court. I tried Oxycontin. That was kind of like the start of like, I started doing Oxycontin. Loved it. It was like a Viking times 100. And eventually after that, I tried heroin for the first time. Now I said in high school, when I was in high school, no one did heroin. We maybe knew one person, and we're like, oh my God, stay away from him. Told myself I would never do heroin, ever. Disgusting, and I didn't want to overdose. That was like my main fear, which is obviously real. I met a guy. I was going out to Minneapolis to party. My friend owns a modeling agency out there, so it's a lot of I like helping videography, editing, a bunch of stuff. I tried heroin for the first time. The reason why is because I had no oxy. I started to get sick, and I really didn't know what the sickness was, but I knew it was because I didn't have any. I didn't like it. This guy I met was doing the heroin, snorting it in front of me, so I'm like, okay, well, he isn't dying, so, it's obviously I'm not gonna die, which is not real, but that was my justification. I did a tiny little bit, loved it. That was the start of everything. During that I was in school actually, and I went for my freshman year. I played baseball, then I got sick of it, and my son was being born, so I came home, went to a semester at community college, and then transferred to a university in the city. At the end of that is when I tried heroin. Like, I don't know how I graduated, but I did.
So you're able to still somewhat function
Yeah.
in the early stages.
The reason why is because when I tried heroin, it was out of town. I didn't know where to get it back in Chicago. I didn't know it was so easy. Like, there was an open drug market in Chicago, and I wasn't aware of that. Later down the road, when I came back, someone introduced me to that open drug market, and then it was accessible 24/7. It was so easy to get, so it got really bad. I was selling drugs at the time. I was sending weed from Colorado through the mail, and I got caught a few times. Actually, I never got caught. They gave me a conspiracy. They had all of the whole case. We were stupid. I wasn't a good drug dealer. I was like, I wanted to be like Tony Montana. And if I was making $10,000 a week, I wanted to make it look like I was making $1 million a week. You know what I mean? It was just like, the ego was just like so big. And I was spending the money faster than it was coming in. And I was doing heroin every day. I mean, non-stop. I got caught with the weed. I eventually went to prison. It got really bad before that. I mean, it got to the point where I was in a motel room. You know what I mean? I don't have anywhere to live. I'm in a motel room, and I'm using heroin on a daily basis. My arms look like World War III. And to me, my biggest bottom was when I burnt every bridge, literally every bridge. I'm using my cell phone on Wi-Fi because I can't pay the bill. It's 7 o'clock in the morning in a motel, freezing in Chicago. I have no idea. At 10 o'clock, because at those motels, they're on it. Like, you have to be out to pay. They're knocking on my door. I have no money to pay for the room. I have no phone. I have no one to call. I just did my last bag of dope. That was the bottom to me. That all happened before I went to prison. Then I went to prison. I went to a really rough prison. It's a whole story, but they sent me to a medium max, which was 22 and 2. It was bad. It was really bad. I was scared, really scared, but you can't show fear. You know what I mean? I got in a lot of fights. The second I got in general population, I was in a fight. I felt like I was walking on eggshells every day. I did not want to go back, you know what I mean? And I thought, okay, and my mom who is in the program right now, she's like, isn't this enough? Like, isn't this enough
Yeah,
to show you?
trying to rationalize some way, somehow.
Yeah, and not to mention I've overdosed plenty of times, you know what I mean? And like, you know, the overdoses, I had a stroke. I was paralyzed from the waist down for 4 months. Yeah, I had stroke due to drug use. The insanity of this disease is like me in a hospital room, not knowing if I'm gonna walk again, having heroin delivered in the room and shooting it into my IV. That's how sick I was. You know what I mean? And I wasn't even like that was like normal to me. Like that's, you know.
So what changed from back then to what led you to us and reaching out for the help and saying I've got to start living a different way?
Yeah, I think, you know, I've you know, the pain is a huge motivator. You know what I mean? Pain is such a great motivator. And what led me here was, you know, now that I've crossed over the line, well over the line, it's like, it's not fun anymore. It's not like college drinking, socializing. My use, and I go like, it's not gradual, you know, it's not like I go back to starting over. I go back to the point or worse, you know what I mean? Like immediately I'm in a motel room. What led me here was just, I mean, honestly, God, like it was so random, like, you know what I mean? And that's how, like, for me, that's how God works, is like, you know what I mean? He has a path laid out and that's what it is. It was so random. I was in California. I came to a detox, and you know, I had a job. I was working for a great company, and you know, they were just sick of my shit. They canceled my insurance, so I was gonna stay out here originally. They canceled my insurance, and I was okay with that because now I'm like, oh well, I can't stay in treatment. I gotta go home. So I went home, and I used the day I got home. You know what I mean? And I didn't even want to. That's like the worst feeling, is not wanting to use, but you're still using. It's like autopilot almost.
And that's the part so many people miss in the early recovery is they think the willpower or the desire is enough alone to stay clean, and it's actually it's more damaging because it gives you this false sense of security of no, I really want to change this time. But until we open up and do that work, which is painful.
Yeah.
But once I do that work, it's incredible how small the pain is to walk through that, and how much pleasure and different things, and we'll get to how great life is now for you and what you're going on. But so you went back, you used, then what happened?
I had no insurance, right? So I'm like, okay, you know, it got bad really fast. I mean, like, you know, I had nothing. Job didn't want me there because I'm a, you know, piece of crap when I'm using, you know what I mean? I just physically can't work. It got bad really fast. You know, I went to a recovery home, so like I got away with it for a few days, and like, you know, because I just wasn't coming home, and I come right home at curfew, go to sleep. You know, they catch on. Everything comes to light. So I got caught, had nowhere to live. You know, I'm like, on the west side of Chicago, which is not a good place. And it was like 5 in the morning. I like fell asleep, got everything stolen. My phone, my duffel bag, my credit cards, my debit card, nothing. Some poor lady gave me $20 to like get home. She was like sad and gave me $20. Went and bought dope with it, did it. I'm like, okay, I gotta go to detox. I went to a state-funded detox, which in Chicago, it is horrible. I was in a room, it was 95 degrees outside. There's no air conditioning in this building. It's like an old building. You're on like a rubber mat, dirty sheets, 4 people in the room, sick, puking. I had like 3 fans on me, and I was just like wanting to die. I didn't care, like, I don't care what. The building could have burned down, I would have just laid there. I was so beaten and miserable, and this just happened time and time and time and time and time again. I was just like, I just wanted to die. And I left. I was like, I can't do this. I just left with no money, no false sense of security came back. I'm good. I can do this. I can do that. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm like, all BS, you know. I, talked to my mom. She heard the pain in my voice. She, I could do Cobra, which was, she helped me pay for my insurance. Like,
so they sensed something different this time in that conversation.
I think she heard the pain in my voice. Like, she felt like I didn't care if I died. Mm-hmm. She was like, afraid of losing her son. You know what I mean? And I was really at that point. Like, I wasn't gonna kill myself, but I overdosed. It was totally okay with me. You know what I mean? And that's like a low point. And she paid for my Cobra. And I said, if she does this, I prayed, I said, I will get this 100%. I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose and everything to gain, And she did it, and I was so happy. I was crying so hard. And, I came to detox in Dana Point. It was a rough detox. Even though I didn't use that long, I get really, really sick. Yeah. I was really, really sick. Once I was done with that, I had no idea where to go. I knew no one out here. I know, no treatment centers, and there's a lot of, bogus stuff going on out here, and you don't know who to trust. And, I have a really good friend that's an honest marketer. He's been in the business 10 years. He's very legit. Doesn't, none of that funny business. And the only reason he's in it is to help people, and he's helped me out a lot. And, he didn't really, he knew of a couple places, and I called him, and I just didn't get a good feeling. There was actually a tech at the treatment center. He said, I know the perfect place for you. It's called Pack Shores. He worked there before. And I trusted him because he was sober 30 years and really good guy, really in tune with, spirituality and meditating. And, I just trust him. He says, it's an awesome place. He said, everyone is awesome. I said, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. And I called Dakota, talked to Dakota, super nice guy. He was like, yeah, I wanted to do things my way. I'm like, I want IOP, because I get my phone, I get freedom, and that's what's good for me. And that's what's wrong.
And you're the only person that has ever done that.
Yeah. And I know it probably didn't work for them, but it's gonna work for me. I know what you know what I mean? Playing the higher power, you know what I mean?
But look at this, if I can just really quick, look at the awareness level now and how you're able to just kind of slide in and out jokingly, but it's this awareness level that really frees us and keeps us in check, not allowing that ego to take over. It's really cool to see, because I've known you for a little bit now. It's been a little bit. And so, but seeing that change, it's really cool to see.
Yeah.
So you're calling Dakota, you're saying, here's how it's going down.
Here's what I know that I need, because I know best. And, he was like, I don't know how it worked out, but, he was like, PHP would probably be the best thing for you. You're coming from RTC. You didn't spend a lot of time in RTC. Come to PHP.
Now, you've done some of the core work at that level, but not really yet.
No, not at all. The place I was at was new. They were cool, good people, but it wasn't any work. You know what I mean? And I was sick. I was physically sick and getting better, and that's what I needed at the time. I did absolutely no work there, and he said PHP, and I was like, I kind of prayed on it, and I thought, okay, well, PHP will be good because I don't have a job. I don't know nobody out here. That'll give me more time to, idle time is the worst. You know what I mean? So being busy and having that time would be great. So I kind of put my hands up. I'm like, it is what it is. It'll work out. Yeah. This is temporary. It'll work out how it should be. So I came here. I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, change in any aspect is a little bit uncomfortable. So, I came here. And I remember, getting out of the car. I, met a couple people, and I just had a good feeling. I remember talking to my mom, and I'm like, yeah, this is the place. The first, it was a Friday when I came. Actually, it was my birthday, and I came, and it was late, but first person I met was Shelly, and she was awesome. And I even told her, straight up, I said, you are a good person to first see. like a first impression is everything, and coming to see somebody, you know, it was like a motherly kind of aspect, you know what I mean? And since I'm a mama's boy, like, you know, that was comfortable to me, you know what I mean? And she was really cool. We actually ended up talking for like hours. Like it took like 4 hours to do my intake. But it was my birthday, I was talking to my kid. And she was totally cool with it, like, you know, and it was awesome. And, you know, I did my intake, came here, you know, I met a couple of the people, settled in, real comfortable. And the next day, Saturday, we did like an outing, you know, and first thing we did in the morning was we went and got coffee at Shirley's and Bagels, and, you know, I met Chase, he's awesome, you know what I mean? And I just felt really comfortable the first day, you know what I mean? Everyone was super welcoming, staff was super welcoming. It was awesome, like, and then we, Rick took us to we went to Laguna Beach. We did like a little hike on the rocks. Like, it was just like a perfect first day. Like,
so, and it sounds like there's a lot of trust that was built pretty quick of having you come in.
Yeah, because I feel like I'm a good reader, you know, and people's energy and stuff. It was just really like, it was genuine. It wasn't like fake, like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like,
you can tell the difference.
Absolutely. And, you know, like treatment centers before, I feel like, you know, I was like a number. Like, this is number 562, next. You know what I mean? And it was just like, when I was like talking to like Rick or Chase, it wasn't like a staff, it wasn't like a authority figure. They like came down to my level, and like, it was just a great connection. Awesome. And seriously, and like, you know, honestly, like when I watch these videos online, sometimes I think like people are like faking it, and like they're like, oh, say this, say that. Or I'm not like saying this just because we're like recording here. I've never been to a treatment facility where, I'm not kidding, every staff member, and I can't pick one, I'm talking every staff member will go above and beyond for you. Always. And that's, even though I left and I'm at, you know, sober living, I can still come back and rely on these people. And it is awesome. You know what I mean? It is
it's the next phase as we continue to progress in life. We do the work, and we get to bring all these, instead of in the past bringing all the baggage with us, when we do the work, it's like we get to bring all these gifts with us. Yeah. And so it's huge. And even, I mean, when walking in, just seeing you talking with some of the people here, it's like, that's what life is about, is being able to learn and to acquire emotional, mental, and to give. And then it's just this continual expansion.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the relationships, like, you know, Rick and Jerry, we play volleyball Wednesday night, like, they're friends to me, you know what I mean? Like, you know I can call them any time of the night, any time of the day, and if they can, they will do anything. And, you know, in the same way, it's just like some of the relationships, even with some of the clients, like, you know, super close with some of the clients, like, you know, friendships that, like, you know, because before I'm used to like having, like, first of all, I'm not doing anything with you unless you're bringing something to the table. And I'm sure it's vice versa. It's the same thing. It's like a use relationship. And like, for people that help you and expect nothing in return is like amazing. And that's what this program is all about, is relying off other people. Like, you know, that's what it's all about. There's, you know, and it says, you know, in the big book, one addict helping another, there's no parallel. Like, it's amazing. It's so true. Like, you couldn't do this alone. You know what I mean? The power of the program, the power of, like, you know, people working with each other, one alcoholic to another. It's just like, it's amazing, you know? And that, you know, not every staff member is an addict or alcoholic, but that's okay. They're like, you know, even my therapist, Naomi, like, she's amazing. Like, it was, felt so comfortable immediately. And I can tell she's not here to make $1 million a year. She's here to help people, and that's all it is. Like, anything she can do is like, it's amazing. It really is. And, like, I'm so glad that, like, you know, I came to this program. It's the best program I've ever been to. You know what I mean? And I don't think there's another one like this. I don't.
That's
really
awesome.
don't. Yeah.
Well, because you've done the work that's what leads to the growth. And I'm just so glad that we got to be a part of that journey.
Yeah, it takes action. I mean, for me, like, there's no, the 12-step program and Alcoholics Anonymous, I'm so glad that, like, I believed in that, because there's no other way. It's not just to stop drinking or using drugs, because I've stopped drinking, using drugs,
And I'm still there. It's still me.
you're still there, and you bring everywhere with you, a geographical change. For me, there's no other way. There's no other way. And like growing and building this spiritual connection that I have is like everything to me. Like, and I'm very, very protective of it. That's why, like, I was worried when we started living, but like, it was time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's always scary going that next step.
Yeah.
Well, that's absolutely incredible to see. And that's why I do tell people, I go, look, we're not for everyone. If someone's coming in looking for a magic pill or the next pill, it's kind of like, we're not the right place.
Absolutely.
If people come in going, I'm scared as hell to do the work, I don't even know what that means, but I am willing because I no longer want to live in pain.
Yeah,
I love it.
My suggestion, would be to new people that are coming in, put your hands up, trust these people and let them guide you, because they will guide you in the right direction. As long as you take a few simple suggestions and stay open, the sky's the limit.
That's huge, man. It's been awesome seeing the transition for you and the next phases of life for you. Well, man, we're huge fans of you.
Yeah.
And congrats and great
Thank
job,
you for
dude.
everything.
And thank you for willing to come on here to be videotaped and just to share your experience,
Definitely.
man.
If I can help one person out in any way I can.